Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. The first part of today's lesson, we are going to look at the solution to the assignment that was given in the previous lesson. And we are talking about the lesson on indices and logarithm. Okay, I gave you two sets of assignments. One was a class assignment and the other one was a take-home assignment. Okay, so first of all, let's look at what the class assignment solution, and you can see marks there. So it means I'm basically going to guide you to mark. Okay, so indirectly what you have there is a marking scheme. Okay, so the class assignment, these were the two questions given. The first question, we were asked to solve this equation. So when you read, okay, so there is no salient part for us to underline. Okay, the next thing that you do is go to a solution. Okay, or you write solution, I should say. After writing solution, questions are numbered because we want you to equally number your solution. So if you fail to number your solution, M0, A0, please take notes. Okay, I'm not going to be lenient this time around because I've said it times without number, and I think because I'm lenient, okay, some of you, you've taken that for granted. So this time around, I'm not going to be lenient. Okay, so you have to learn your lesson the better way. All right, so unfortunately, so here, question one, that's what you write. Okay, question one, so solution one. Then given, you extract the given equation. So that's what we have here. So obviously, you know we are dealing with an exponential equation. And we know the steps that we are supposed to go through, okay, for us to have our solution to every exponential equation. So what do? We said we have to make sure that both sides of your equal to, you have a base, okay, to a particular power. But make sure that the bases are the same if possible. So this side, thankfully, we have a base to a power. This one, okay, in actual fact, is every number is to the power 1. But that is what? An exception. Okay, so here, what do? We ask ourselves, can we write 2, 4, 3 as a number? And I said, concentrate on this base if possible. So this base 3, so 3 to a certain, okay, power. That will give you 2, 4, 3, and indeed, yes, 3 to the power 5. So at this point, you know, once your bases are the same, we equate the exponents. Okay, so you extracting what you have here is b half. Okay, transforming this one to 3 to the power 5 will give you, okay, what? 1. And please take note, if you come and write equal to here, okay, and you write this, it will be M0, A0. At this point, you should know when to use the equal to as well. What you are dealing with is an equation, so you cannot start introducing your steps with equal to. Okay, it's implication or you ignore. But if you write equal to here, you are doomed. Please take notes. Okay, so at this point, equating the numerator, did I say numerator? Sorry, the powers will give you this, and that will be M1. Then after that, what do? You are solving for s. So it's a linear equation. You move this one to this side, which will give you 2s is equal to 4. So that will be m half. You write it again and you divide. That will be m1. Okay, then at this point, you can, you know, when you reduce, you land at your answer. So you can draw your conclusion at this point. So therefore, x will be equal to what? 2, A1. Remember, if the therefore is not there, you won't get what? Your A1 mark. It means you have not concluded. Take notes. All right. Okay, so quickly, let's look at what? The question 2. So question 2, what are we supposed to do? Okay, so given that, okay, 3 to the power x is equal to m, express 3 to the power 3x minus 2 in terms of what? M. Okay, so Prof. Julian, let me finish. I'll give you chance to ask questions or contribute. Okay, so thank you for your understanding. So at this point, you know, again, this question is numbered, so question 2. So solution 2. Okay, and remember, anytime every major question, you need to write solution. But if you wrote solution once, don't worry, it's the same assignment. I won't penalize you. Okay, so in this case, we are going to get 2 given. So you extract this. This relation is very important. Okay, so you have the relation 3 to the power s is equal to m. And what are we supposed to? We are supposed to express this in terms of m. This is in terms of x, basically. Okay, so now what do? Remember, those of you who watched the video, we said, okay, anytime you have, so it means you come and write, but you cannot write equal to, so you come and work on this. So, but 3 to the power x minus 2 will be equal to, we know, and in the video, in the lesson, I told you that anytime you have a to any power, Okay, and it is maybe m plus n. You know the plus, the exponent here that you are adding is coming from what? Product. That's why you were able to combine it as one exponent. If you have a to the power m minus n, the exponent here is coming because of what? Division. That's why you are subtracting. So it will be this one will give you a to the power m, okay, times a to the power n. That will give us this. In the same way, this will give us a to the power m, okay, over a to the power n. Okay, so obviously we know that if you want to split this one, okay, we are going to have what? 3 to the power 3x over, because of the minus, 3 was squared. So that's exactly what you have here. However, we also know that if you have any, let's say a to the power mn, the product, we can write this one as a to the power m, okay, the whole of that to the power n, or a to the power what? N, the whole of that to the power m. But we said we have to look for the convenient one. And because here we're giving, okay, 3 to the power x, which is what we have is substitution. Okay, instead of writing this one, the 3 to the power 3x, we can write it as 3 to the 3 cube, or to the power what? X. Or we can also write it 3 to the power x, or cube, or to the power 3. But we can see that we have the substitution for 3 to the power x. So it is better we go for this one instead of this one. So that informed this decision. So this now will be equal to 3 to the power x, okay, all cube, or all to the power 3. All over, we know that 3 squared is 9. Okay, so at this point, the question gave us what? 3 to the power x. And 3 to the power x we know is m. So it means I'm going to get m cubed, okay, over what? Over 9, because the whole of this is m. Okay, so at this point, I come and draw my conclusion. Therefore, 3 to the power 3x minus 2 is equal to m cubed over 9. And the whole of this will be a cubed. So the total score for the class assignment is supposed to be 10 marks. Okay, any questions at this point before we move on to the take-home assignment? Okay, Prof. Julian.
Sir, please, did you say that the number one, if you don't bring the implication sign, is M0?
No, I said if you are dealing with an equation, okay, as for the implication, okay, you can ignore. Okay, but if you write equal to, that is costly. You know this is an equation. You cannot introduce your steps when you are given an equation inequality with equal to. So that would be M0, A0. But you can choose to ignore the implication. And it will not be costly. Because we will use the equal to here to distinguish your steps from each other. However, if you are dealing with an expression, okay, if you don't introduce equal to with each step, or yes, okay, it will be very difficult in certain situations, especially where you have spillovers, to identify or distinguish your steps from each other. That's why I said if you are dealing with an expression, each step on the way, make sure you introduce that with equal to. But for equations inequality, you can choose not to start with the implication, only that you know how to use the implication, when to use it, so you can use it, just for you to be an expert, that's all. But if you ignore, no issues.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you are welcome. Please, any other concerns? Okay, great. So it means you are all fine. If that's the case, then quickly let's go and look at what's the second assignment. So, and this was the assignment. So quickly, we are going to look at the solution together. Okay, so this was it. As usual, when you read questions, I've told you, make it a habit to underline the salient parts. And those of you who fail to do that, you know, okay, you will lose this mark. So that's why I said sometimes it's very difficult, okay, marking, especially when I know that I've given you all the tools, okay, how to protect your marks, but because of sheer, I shouldn't say, whether it's complacency or what, you lose certain marks that you are not supposed to lose. Please, let's learn to cherish every marks, okay, no matter how small it is, let's value, okay, those marks. So as usual, you underline these two sets, okay, then now you go and look at, so solution, and it's not necessary to write the assignments. Okay, so this question is not numbered. So I don't want to see any question number. So if you number it M0, A0, I'm not going to be lenient at all this time around. These are basic, that you don't need to be an expert in math. It doesn't need thinking. Okay, if the questions are numbered, number. If the questions are not numbered, don't number. That's all. Okay, so in this case, you extract your first equation, you label it. Okay, because this equation, it doesn't contain any fraction, it doesn't contain any brackets. It's your usual form of equation, so you label it. Okay, the second equation that we have here, okay, so equally you extract, so and this one. So if you extract the first two equations directly and you name, okay, that will give you your B1. Okay, now this is what we are going. Someone can choose not to label the equation at this point. There is no issue. But the person will come and write, this implies that, because the person will realize that before, okay, this equation will be very pretty to work on. You have to move from exponential to the normal equation. Okay, so there are no issues. Only that I'm going strictly by the advice I gave you. That's the more reason why I also resorted to this presentation. Okay, so at this point from 2, okay, we can manipulate because we cannot work on these two directly. Other than that, it will be oranges and apples. This one is not an exponential, this is exponential. We cannot work with them directly. So we have to go and change this one, the exponential, to the normal, which we are experts now. So what do? This will give us from 2. We know we can expand this. Somebody can choose not to expand it later. Okay, equate the exponents and expand. But I decided to expand the powers here, and this will be equal to 1 over 3 cubed. Someone can write this one straight away there. In that case, you will get the 2 marks here. We'll put that together there. But do it systematically, unless you are mature. So at this point, since the bases are the same, we can equate the exponent. So if you equate the exponent to M1, then now this equation can be reduced. So you reduce the equation, and that will give you, okay, you divide by 3. And please take note, any equation that you want to label, okay, or any equation that you want to work with, if you can reduce. If you can remove the brackets, remove. If you can clear the fractions, clear. So that informed my decision. So at this point, this will give me this. And I ordinarily, you would have labeled this as equation what 2. Or in this case, equation 2a, this one. But I realized that if I label this one and I'm going to work on these two equations, the 2a and the equation 1, I realized that I cannot directly eliminate. Okay, if I want to eliminate, then I have to multiply the 2a by a constant. If I want to eliminate x, I have to multiply by 5. If I want to eliminate y, I have to multiply by 4. So in that case, I have to go and write equation 2a times what? 4, or equation 2a times 5, depending on which variable I want to eliminate. So I realized that will take, okay, more of my time. So at this point, what do? We said we are going to, what do you call it? I decided to use substitution method. So at this point, I didn't label. I made X the subject before labeling. Somebody could have made Y the subject before labeling. There is no issue, okay, with that. Is my point well made?
Yes, please.
Okay, so at this point, we have our second equation. That is, in actual fact, our third equation. So what do? You go and substitute this one. You know the plan. That's why you label it. And so it means you want to use the substitution. So you substitute this one into the equation that we have there. Okay, so I did the substitution. So equation 2a into equation 1. And that will give you 5. Okay, you know your x. That would be 1. Okay, so that would be, 1 plus y, or y plus 1, depending on how you stated this. Then minus, okay, 4y is equal to 6. So that's what we have here. And at this point, you can see your equation is in y. Remove the brackets, okay, which gives you this. Then you come and solve for y. Y will be equal to what? 1. And that will be your equation 3. You need y to predict what? The x. So you go and substitute equation 3. So you label it as equation 3 because you will need it into the one that you made as the subject, so 2a. And that will give you x is equal to 1 plus y, which is 1. Okay, so that will give you m1 here. Then you get s is equal to what we have here. So we have Therefore, now you are going to draw your conclusion, and you know it's true set. So it will be therefore, then your curly bracket, don't write true set is. It's not necessary. We know once you write it this way, we know you are dealing with a true set. So therefore, okay, S comma Y is such that X is equal to state its value and Y is equal to 1. Or someone equally can write, okay, S comma Y is such that X is equal to then comma Y is equal to 1. So S is equal to 2, comma, Y is equal to 1. And remember, I've told you in math, comma is the same as what? And. Okay, these two can be used interchangeably. Okay, so the whole of this, which was your assignment, should be, what do you call it? 10 marks. All right. Okay, Prof. Julian.
Sir, please, I solved my own differently.
Okay, but you ended up getting the same answers.
Yes, please.
Okay, so basically for now, this is what I will tell you in terms of the marking. Okay, if everything here is correct, the ones that are obvious, okay, so maybe the extraction, as for that one, we will all have to extract the B1 that we have there. Maybe if it's from here that your steps will be different from mine, that is okay. So give yourself B1 here, and maybe then the rest of the 9 marks here, you can write 9 there, so that your total will be 10. You get it? Or even your final answer should be the same. So it means your B1 and the A1, all of us should have the same thing. I hope
Yes,
you get
sir.
my head. So B1 indicates B1. If you had the A1 also correct, indicate it. So it means in between, you have 8 marks there. Then you don't know how to distribute. So just write 8 marks. And in case it will, and in all, it will be what? 10 marks. You get the point?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. All right. So as always, we'll say that accept, okay, any other valid alternatives. Okay. So if your method, okay, is valid, we'll look at that before we'll give you the full score. Okay. So on this note, any questions? Are we all fine, my professors? Is everyone fine? Hello, my professors, are you all fine?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So on this note, thank you very much for your time and attention. We are done with the first part of what's today's lesson.